And one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our third episode of Making an Impact Coast to Coast with Healing Our Heroes and all the other nonprofits that we get to meet across the nation. I'm one of the co-founders, Melissa Hergert, or Teal, some of you know me as. And who's our other co-founder?
That would be me, Tana Danahay, here in San Diego. So the other co-founder of Healing Our Heroes. So happy afternoon, happy Monday, everyone.
Happy Monday. Who do we have on today? Who do we have?
Who do we have on today? Melanie, please introduce yourself and tell us, give us a little bit of a background about you, your name, where you're located, family, just kind of more of a personal note for us.
All right, well, I'm Melanie Shannon. I'm located in Southern California, a little rural town called Yucca Valley, which most people recognize being very close to Joshua Tree. I have a family of 2 children here with my husband. I'm a writer, I am a graphic designer, and also the co-founder of the nonprofit Spark Growth that was just founded last April.
Awesome.
So are we looking at 2018 or 2019?
2018.
Wow.
Yeah.
A little over a year.
Yeah. So you're still kind of in the infancy stages of everything, trying to figure out how to maneuver your 501c3, what works, what doesn't, all that.
It's been a really wonderful learning experience. I should say that. We have had a lot of ambition and we've learned a lot in the first year. And it's really been a learning experience as far as fine-tuning the machine and really honing in on what we can do in a reasonable amount of time versus all of the things we want to do. Because, you know, we all have these ideas of grandeur. And so it's been a great learning curve. But we pivot a lot. That's the term that we use on the board a lot, is we pivot when things happen. We just learn to bend our knees and we go with the flow because there's really no other way to learn than, you know, to go through it. So that's what we do.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, like I said, with the podcast that we're going to do today, we're going to ask you a couple questions and then we'll just kind of dive into it and hopefully you'll be able to answer some things and then maybe we'll have some insight and we can kind of talk about what works with your nonprofit and then what works with ours and that kind of thing. So we'll try to make it as casual as possible.
Okay.
So, first question we're going to go with was obviously you said that you founded your nonprofit last year in April 2018, so you're a year and a half in. And then, so the question with that being is, what kind of inspired you to start your nonprofit? And tell us, actually, give us an introduction about your nonprofit and what you guys do. And then tell us what kind of inspiration around with that.
Okay, well, I guess I could start with the birth of it. Really, what I started to notice probably along with a lot of other people, is the violence that was happening in the schools throughout the United States. It was very disturbing. And being a person that has children in the school system, I thought, what could I do to impact this? And so what grew from that was a curiosity partnering with my mother, who we both come from an education background. She taught younger children in preschool, ran a program there, and her and I both taught at the local community college for quite some years. So we put our heads together and we started to think, how could we impact this? What is the issue that's happening? And what it came down to was connection. There was a loss of connection with children, and it really is a very basic fundamental need. And so in thinking about how to connect, we thought, how can we be of service and be of connection? And we thought, we have to be in the classroom. That's what we have to do. And in California, unfortunately, the first thing that get cut at schools is art programs. And a lot of literacy suffers with that. So we kind of married the two things together. And the way that we do that is we enter into elementary schools. We bring enrichment by reading a book and then having a project that comes after that. It's typically art. Sometimes we have teachers request science or math or things like that, but we always are in partnership with the educator at all times because we want to build that foundation in our community. And in doing so, we have found that the connection is growing, and it's growing at a rapid rate. We work very closely with the school district, and we've been asked to expand quickly. We started with one school site at the beginning of our nonprofit, and then quickly we were asked to fold in another school. So right now we're servicing 2. At the end of this year, we'll have a 3rd. And we're looking at impacting and growing to service all 14 elementary schools in the district. That's our goal. That's our end game. Another component to our program is not only being in the classroom for 30 minutes and reading and doing these enrichments, but we create the project with California state standards, so it has curriculum built into it as well. And we also deliver a family enrichment project that gets taken home to further reach not just the child, but the whole family learning. So that's also part of the connection that we're trying to maintain and carry through the community. So
that's amazing.
Thank you.
So with that being said, obviously your your goal, I'm sorry, for this, maybe this year or possibly next year, is to be within all 14 schools. Is that correct?
Well, it's going to take time right now because we are in such a rural area. It's not just a matter of driving 5-10 minutes to the next school. We're talking, half an hour to the next school sometimes. So our projection is probably going to be more realistically like 17 years.
Wow.
But, it's just that plan has been built, and we're doing it safely so that, because what we have learned is that every single school site is different. They have different focuses. For example, our first school site focuses on social emotional learning. The second school site focuses on child responsibility. So we have to take time to build those relationships so that we are bringing our program and folding in and meshing it with what they're delivering as well, so that it's a team effort.
Right. And so how many members do you guys have on the team that particularly go into the school and obviously read to the children and then create this beautiful art curriculum that you guys are putting together? How many volunteers?
Right now we have 3, so to speak, instructors that go into the classroom, myself, my mother, and my daughter. We are doing that right now, but last year we had 13 volunteers, and we over the summer have grown that, because what's happening is we can't buddy up with each other and go in. It's just growing too fast. So we are bringing more community members, and we're finding that that's been a really beneficial experience, because now, retired teachers and people who have had different instructional experiences are going in with us and supporting us while we do that. So it's just growing.
That's a great idea, finding volunteers to go in and be more active even in their own community. It gives them a sense of ownership as well on making changes in these children's lives. I think that's so smart of you. That's a great idea.
Thank you.
Right. So with that being said, Melanie, obviously it's your daughter, your mom, and your time going into the school itself. So how do you guys, with 501c3s, you're obviously a nonprofit. So of course it's only either, federally funded, grant funded, or you have donors. So how are you guys able to fund the 501c3 right now? It's always a huge for 501c3, right?
Takes a lot of prayer, I'll tell you that. We're in a really interesting situation right now because we haven't hit our 2-year mark in California. We cannot qualify for a lot of the state funding. Okay. And the federal funding that's out there, we haven't been able to qualify for that. So we look for private donors. In fact, over the summer, we've brainstormed quite a bit, and we've come up with the sponsorship program, which we just have started to reach out to the community businesses. And what we would do is that if, let's say we have, I'll give you an example. We've done this project with Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And so the hands-on project will be that these kindergartners will make locks to keep Goldilocks out. So an idea of ours would be to go to a locksmith and say, hey, sponsor this project, and we will put your name on the take-home activity that goes home to further share that connection. So
Very smart.
we've just
Very
implemented that as kind of like it's a saving grace
Yeah.
because, you know, sales, it's like a salesmanship almost aspect when you are in a nonprofit. You're
Yeah.
constantly selling yourself. We've had some very generous donors. We've also worked with a lot of businesses in town. In fact, there was a VR company in the Cloud Studios who came into the classroom and worked with our GATE children to create a social emotional learning commercial that we did over the course. And they came in and brought all their equipment and did all the editing. So, you know, it's generosity, really, that you just have to find those other members of society who want to be of service.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
just utilize that and connect.
Absolutely. And so with that being said, do you have any fundraisers coming up that we can share with our community to let them know, hey, you know, these children need some, you know, some guidance up here in Yucca Valley. You guys want to be a part of that. Is there any events coming up or any?
Well, sponsorship is always welcome, and we have a
Okay.
donation button on our website at sparkgrowthprogram.com. Fortunately for us, we did connect with a community member who got some funding through the National Endowment of the Arts. So we're doing an NEA Big Read Morongo Basin, and we have a kickoff that we're going to be a part of on September 7th. And so that's exciting. All the information is listed on our website as well. But that's a good opportunity for community members to come out and speak with us and see who we are and what we're trying to do and how we're trying to impact children's lives, because they are the future and we want to continue to build lifelong learners. And any way we can do that is mostly by showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask this question. Besides funding, what are some other obstacles that you have found owning a nonprofit? Besides funding, because everyone's
Yeah, that's always the hot button, right?
Yeah.
Volunteers, because we live in a community that has a lot of military and a lot of students who go to college. At a junior college level, we see a lot of turnover. So that's something we could always use people. And I even tell people, because sometimes they get nervous, oh, I don't want to be in the classroom with all those children. Well, we have projects you could cut. We have things you could staple, you know. The hands, more hands in it, the bigger it's going to grow and be successful. So I think that just getting this kind of exposure is wonderful for us, because not a lot of people know what we're doing yet, because we are so new. We've tried really hard to go out and have events. We did an event down at a very small school that only has 150 people, and it was an art and author night. And we brought all kinds of activities for families to do, but encouraging people to know who we are and to be involved. You know, that's a big part.
And it's fun. It seems like it's a fun thing to be involved with. Like,
it really is. I mean,
fun.
who doesn't like getting their hands dirty, right? With paint and glue and all that fun stuff. So
it's a great idea. And one thought is, you may have already done this, just popped on the top of my head, is have you already asked for in-kind donations from Staples and the bigger, you know, product stores? Because I've heard that.
We do have someone who helps us with trying to get grants. Last year, the grant writer did go out and get some good donations, and we had a basket that we were able to have at our art and author night. But because it's such a small community, we have a lot of poverty here in this area, low income. And so even bringing those kind of things in, we don't see the impact as far as like the donations were up over $600 and we only made like 100. So that's the kind of thing. And because we're so rural, we don't have a Staples. We don't have a Target. We don't have those kind of things. Our biggest box store is a Walmart. You know, we have reached out to them and we haven't seen much coming. You know, the declined letters come a lot, but we just keep pressing, you know. So eventually we're gonna be best friends. That's what I keep telling everyone. Eventually you're gonna like us and you're gonna want to be a part of it. We're just never gonna give up because the need is too great, you know. And I think my daughter even says it, you know, the passion that we have is what will keep the fires burning. because we just want it for the children so badly. They deserve to express themselves. They deserve to be able to engage with their community and know that, you know, you can turn on the television and find badness all the time. But when they see these blue shirts walking down the hall, that changes their entire attitude. They know that they're going to have someone who's going to listen, who's going to connect, and they're going to be able to create. And so those are things you can't take away.
Absolutely. And it's such a prime age. It could create people, some of these children could even become professional artists later in life, or be able to find creativity later in life to become their own entrepreneurs when maybe they wouldn't think they would have that chance later, without meeting.
That's the hope. I love to be able to inspire the children to do that. And we do go to these art and author nights and see their works posted up in the office, and it's just a bright light. It's something that it makes you want to continue to deliver, because that's an opportunity that they don't have. And most of the children, we poll the classrooms from time to time, 30 children in a classroom, and we'll say, how many of you have been to the library? And it's 2. It's just so far away from where they live. They don't have the opportunities that cities do. And so we have to engage in that. We even started a lending library at our first school site. And we have a local bookstore, Space Cowboy Books in Joshua Tree, who generously donates all the books. Yeah. And the children get to take them home. They can bring old books and exchange them. It's just something fundamental that, us as adults take for granted, but they don't have that,
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So, Melanie, with all that being said, we'll kind of start to wrap up here. What has been your greatest success so far obviously with running your nonprofit?
I think our biggest success is the fact that when I totaled up our volunteer hours last year, it was over 400. And I think that for itself, because it's just being in a community that is willing to take a chance on us and willing to let us come in and share our skill set, that to me is success. When you have children come up to you and give you a letter that they've worked really hard on, that maybe they had trouble writing at the beginning of the year, and know that you impacted that, that's a success. We continually say the thank you cards that we get from the classrooms, those are our paychecks. That's how we can sleep at night, because we know we're doing something good.
That's great.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So, Melanie, if you could let you can let everybody know where exactly they can find you guys, website, Facebook, Instagram, any type of social media you have, please share it with us now, obviously verbally, and then we'll also tag you at the bottom of this, this recording, and then they can check out for that way as well.
All right, our website is www.sparkgrowthprogram.com. We are also on Facebook at Spark Growth Program, and on Instagram, Spark Growth Program.
Keep it easy. That's perfect. That's the big thing, is being able to have your name be the website and the Instagram. And I think a lot of nonprofits need to make sure that they're on Instagram and Facebook and all that. That's perfect. Oh, cool logo.
Thank you. My design.
Very cool.
I love it. Well, Melanie, from us Healing Our Heroes, and also both Melissa and I are mothers, we can't thank you and your mother and your daughter enough for what you guys are doing for the education system, especially here in California. And with me being here in California, knowing that we have influencers like you that are coming into classrooms that are just trying to create imagination and love and kindness and sharing good in the world to the youth of our America. It's so humbling for us to meet somebody like you who in such a small rural town is trying to make such a big impact. We can't thank you enough, and we really appreciate your time doing this. Hopefully your good deed and what you're trying to do is going to spread and create love amongst the country, and hopefully we hear of your program in more than just in California, but we look forward to seeing you in other states across the country, and we're sending out good vibes for that.
I'd like to be, bigger than PTO. That's the dream, be household name. I'm grateful for the opportunity to connect with you guys and to, just reach further. And if I can support what you guys have going on in any way, please reach out to me. I would love to do that. We're all doing good work. And I think good work needs to happen more often out in this world. So, the change will come.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So, well, from all of us here at Healing Our Heroes, we really appreciate you, Melanie. And, we hope to connect with you soon in the future. And vice versa, if there's anything you ever need from us, please reach out to us, let us know. We deal with a lot of military families every single day. So we know that you touching on military families in your community are helping actually us as well, so thank you again. But, well, this has been another exciting podcast, episode 3, right, Melissa?
Episode 3. Good. That was great.
Third time's a charm.
That's right. Thanks for everything.
All right. Well, we're going to log off for here today, and we will see you guys back next week for another episode of Making Changes Coast to Coast. I'm Tina Danahay and
Melissa Teal.
Melanie Shannon.
And Melanie. Bye.
Bye.